had me mixed up, cause I wasn't fixed up. Shout out to my niggas, never switched up. Until we in them ditches, we gon' live it up, give it up. I went broke tomorrow, I wouldn't give a fuck, cause I came from nothing. Yeah, I came from nothing. Ain't no shame in nothing, cause I made it something. I came from nothing. Did you ever want
Coach Gibbs here, guys. I wanted to give you my insight, or my opinion. Could be insight, could not be. But I want to give you my opinion on why I think Crawford wins the Crawford-Spence fight. So let's start with their skill sets. When you look at Crawford, you see a guy that can move well. He can punch from angles. He's tricky. He's constantly changing up what he's doing. He's got a very, very high boxing IQ, and he's what we consider to be a ring general. And he's got deceptive power. I mean, watching him throw the punches, you can't really see the danger in them. I mean, they're just really concise, great angled punches. They land well. He throws them from hurtful angles. He locks his punches really well right before they land. Another thing about him is he's durable. I've seen him take nice shots, and he was able to walk through them. Now, Errol Spence, I think, hands down, is one of the most durable fighters in the welterweight division. I mean, I don't know that I've ever seen him hurt. I've seen him take shots that hurt, but I don't think I've seen him hurt. I've never seen him in danger. And I think that's a credit to how good of shape he's in. And, I mean, he was in two crazy car wrecks now, but the first one was insane. And he walked away with just barely a scratch. So the guy is majorly tough. Can't take that from him. However, and some people are going to disagree with me on this one, a lot of people probably, Spence fans, but he's kind of a one-trick pony. Now, what he does is fundamentally sound. So he's really good at being a one-trick pony. And I'm not saying he's only got one trick, but I'm saying it's kind of basic what he does. He doesn't move laterally too much. He's not really quick. He doesn't have the IQ of a guy that can move around and let's just say like Sugar Ray Leonard did, fight going backwards. That's stuff that you never see Errol Spence do. He doesn't fight going backwards much. And even if he can, we haven't witnessed it enough to say that he's good at it. I don't think he's going to be the kind of fighter that ever wants to go backwards. So, having said that, the matchup is what's concerning, because, well, let's go back to what Errol Spence is good at. His jab, his 1-2, and he can put combos together. Once he got you pinned, he can unload on you. And I think he has got stopping power that you just can't take over the rounds. I mean, 6th round, you're ready to quit against a guy that hits that hard consistently. His jab is always thudding. I mean, he's trying to land it. A lot of guys are just pawing, and they only pop you with effective jabs every once in a while. Errol Spence has one of the most consistent and damaging jabs in the game. I mean, not just in the welterweight division, but out of all fighters. And he's extremely, like I said, extremely durable, so he just keeps it going. Now, what I think makes this such a dangerous fight for him is he's a pressure fighter. He counts on breaking you down over the rounds, just never turns it off. So, in order for that to work, you have to have a guy that will be where you need him to be when you're punching, or you have to be able to cut him off and make him submit, trap him. Terence Crawford's not the kind of guy that you can trap and make submit. His footwork is too good. And the most dangerous part about tracking him and trying to make him submit to the pressure is that he can punch from lateral movement. He can punch going backwards. And he's dangerous with every punch because he is so precise.
So they're both great fighters, but I feel like Crawford, he's a tricky bastard. He's a tricky, I don't want to say that, but he's a tricky motherfucker, And I feel like he'll take the victory.
I think, if I'm not wrong, he's got one of the most accurate punching stats in the game. I'll have to check that. So, with Errol Spence putting pressure on Terence Crawford and Terence Crawford avoiding that pressure, what does it look like? To me, it looks like a guy is going to have to fight skillfully. And although both fighters can be touched, both fighters have flaws that will allow them to be counter-punched. I think Errol Spence's are a little more dangerous because when you see Terence Crawford get counter-punched, it's by a fast, choppy guy most of the time, and it's in between his engagement, his combos. You don't just close the distance and swing on Terence Crawford and catch him. You have to trick the guy. And so, do you often see Errol Spence being tricky when he's punching? Not really. You just see him barrage the shit out of people. And it works because when you throw punches in bunches and the guy that's standing in front of you is game for that, you're going to land some of them. Terence Crawford's not going to stand there for that. He won't. You see it traditionally. He loves to use his legs. He loves to punch going backwards. He's not a guy that's going to be standing in front of you. I've never seen a guy that moves as well as him and punches as well as him while he's moving. That's one of the biggest things. So if we go back and we look at experience, both of these guys have a ton of experience. Errol Spence has, I think, 130 amateur fights, and Terence Crawford has 70. They both have 12 losses. But in the pros, with quality opponents, Terence Crawford has arguably 18 quality opponents, and I mean high quality. Errol Spence has 10. You can argue one or two opponents, but those are the numbers that I came up with. It's going to come down to experience, adjustments, and durability in this fight. Both men are durable. Both men have tremendous punching power, although I do give the edge to Terence Crawford. If you look at their common opponents, Kell Brook and Sean Porter, I think Terence stopped Kell Brook maybe in, let's look, 4 or 6. Yeah, Terence stopped Kell Brook in round 4 and Porter in round 6. Errol stopped Kell Brook in round 11, and he went the distance with he went to 12 rounds with Porter. Earl's rarely had to make adjustments against any of those opponents because his style works against that type of fighter. Um, but he hasn't really seen a fighter like Terence that can move as well, like I said earlier, and punch from different angles and different movements. Has Terence seen a guy that puts pressure as well as Errol Spence does? Not necessarily, but he has seen that style with other guys, in fact, in his last fight. But are they as good as Errol Spence with the pressure? It's hard to say. Porter lunges in too much and he gets caught fairly easy with timed shots, and like I said, Terence is really good at that. You could see from some of the clips that we have that Terence likes to wait for you to make a move. He predicts it. He studies full body movements really well, and he just, if you take a step forward, he assumes that it's going to be a harmful movement even when it's not. So he's almost always prepared for that. And I don't see enough tricky foot movement out of Errol Spence to thwart that, to overcome that ability for Terence to counterpunch. Do I think that Errol Spence is more durable than Terence Crawford? Yes. But whose durability will be tested the most in this fight? I think it's going to be Errol Spence, because Errol Spence's style of punching is just not going to get a bunch of punches on Terence Crawford like he does most opponents. So that's my opinion. I'd like to see what you guys think. Leave some comments for me, and we'll get some friendly arguments going about it. And check out some of our fighters over at PB&J's Boxing. Most of them are fairly new. We do have a couple that have been there for a while, but we have a couple guys that are really special, up and coming, and namely Jim and I, LJ and Jackson. And we'd like for you guys to watch them grow with us, and it's going to be a lot of fun. So like and subscribe.